Hi, good morning to all of you. I B. S. Sitabadrao, tax consultant, advocate from Andhra Pradesh. Recently, for the last 3 days, I have released a video on how to handle services files by a tax provision under GST scenario in Telugu language. Last 3 days, some of our friends is asking me to provide such lesson in English language. So from today onwards, I am trying to give my lecture meeting on as a tax professional how to handle services files in your regular professional life under GST scenario. Friends, you know very well from 1/7/2017 onwards, the Government of India implemented Goods and Service Taxes Act in place of 13 acts. You know, already we have completed 2 years, 10 months. Even though some of our professionals is having a confusion to handle services files. So, by my little bit knowledge, as a professional, how to handle a person when approached with you to doing business in supply of services at present scenario. So friends, if any person approached you about how to start the business for supply of services and how to maintain the records and follow the how to follow the procedural returns filing and everything under the GST scenario. Under these circumstances, as a professional, you have to take some precautionary steps. What are the steps to be taken by you? I will explain in this video. Actually, my concept is as per 11 of 2017, the government of India declared some classification of services. That means 31 services are main services are declared or classified in notification number 11 of 2017 by the Government of India and the recommendations of GST Council. So, according to that notification, 31 services are taxable under GST. As per notification number 12 of 2017, date 28th June 2017, some of the services are outside purview of the GST. So that means as per 11 of as per 12 of 2017 notification dated 28 June 2017, some of the services are not taxable. So under these circumstances, as a tax professional, any person approached you to guidance from you. So you have to take some precautionary steps. What are the steps? That means you have to collect some data from your client. What is the data? Basically, you have to ask your client whether he is an income tax assessee as on date or not. If he is as an income tax assessee, you have to collect latest income tax return. Along with income tax return, you have to collect bank account and whatever records he has maintained related to his services, supply of services during the year. Otherwise, if you are new to the business supply of services, then you have to prepare a checklist. What is the source of investment to invest for procuring the tools, machineries, etc., for providing services to others. Second thing is you have to obtain a copy of the PAN card from your client. and verified whether that card is belongs to HF or belongs to individual. Friends, as per Income Tax Act in India, except Muslims, every person is having two statuses. One is a individual status, second one is HF status. Individual status means any person investment made for doing the businesses, either supply of goods, either supply of services, from the amount received or invested from his parents or his mother, such income is individual income. Or personally, previously, prior to start this business, is doing some services or is doing some job as an employment. From that savings, it can be treated as a individual income. Sometimes some of the assets are invested from the source of income is ancestral property or grandfather's, forefathers' property income or forefathers' fixed deposit amount. So under that circumstances, any person invested from the ancestral property, that income, that business treated as a HF business. This is most important, friends, because in future, whatever regarding registration aspect I am explaining you, you have to remember these two issues, either individual capacity or HF capacity. Each capacity is having threshold limit for services 20 lakhs. So 20 HF under individual capacity, 20 lakhs threshold limit, and HF capacity 20 lakhs threshold limit for services in India, except friends, northern northeastern states. For northeastern states, 10 lakhs threshold limit. So, friends, first of all, you have to obtain the income tax return, bank statement, PAN card, and you have to refer balance sheet, and from balance sheet you have to verify asset side. What are the assets he is having are mentioning in the report to the income tax department. What is the fixed assets he is having in the balance sheet? What is the fluctuating assets are like machinery, tools, etc. Because under GST scenario, if any income received from the fixed assets. That means either apartments or building or warehouse or showroom, any commercial transactions made on that property, that commercial taxes income is taxable under GST. Second thing is either machinery is having either vehicles, cars, machinery, tools, or vehicle. Vehicle means for heavy lorries or gutters or any machinery, earth moving machinery. These are movable machinery. Any person has given such machinery for lease without transferring the ownership. Such income is also taxable under the GST as a services, rental services. So, friends, after that, you have to refer the profit and loss account. From profit and loss account, how many sources of income is offered? Either salary income as a employee, government employee, as a salary income from the director capacity in the company, or a salary income from the partnership firm. Friends, there is a relation between the employer and employees. Any services comes under the definition of employer employee. It is not taxed with the GST. But any director received remuneration under director capacity from a company is a taxable RCM under the GST scenario. Second thing is any income shown in the profit loss account from the housing from the income from house property. Any income received from the residential property for residential purpose, from residential he has given any apartment for residential purpose, there is no tax liability under GST scenario. But any apartment or any property is given for commercial purpose. For example, any apartment is given to any advocate office, it is considered definition of business. Or any apartment is given for a tax professional or chartered account office, it is as for any or any agent, establishment agent capacity, or any person doing established any supply of services from that place, from that commercial property, that income is treated as a income from commercial property, so it is taxed in the GST scenario. Second thing is any income received from the house site. That means that site has given by your client to any company for storage the goods. That income is also taxed under GST. Any godown, any person constructed a godown in his own site, that construction activity is coming under the definition of from the definition of immovable property definition. And also that warehouse or godown is given for rental purpose to any showroom purpose or any businessman for store his goods. That income earned by your client is taxable under GST scenario. So you have to verify from the profit loss account. Third one is income from miscellaneous income. Miscellaneous income is any income received by your client for the purpose of machinery has given on rental basis without any transfer of his permanent property, permanent right. He has given the machinery for temporary along with the driver or cleaner. The service is also coming under the purview of GST. That is also taxed under GST. So these points we have to mention, are prepared as in your notes. Based on that, you have to identify under which category your client's activity of supply of services comes under the category classification of services as per 11 of 2017, notified by the government, notified by the CBIC. So, as per notification number 11 of 2017, the government unit, the GST Council or CBSC announced 31 services are taxable services. The remaining whatever services mentioned in the 12 of 2017, dated 28 June 2017 is exempted turnover. So, for example, your client is having turnovers of supply of services. From that, you have to identify to verify the following documents. What is the documents mean? First of all, you have to verify or ask with your client, you have any agreement entered during the year for the providing services. From that agreement, we have to verify thoroughly what are the terms and conditions, for what purpose that agreement is entered, either supply of services or supply of goods. So based on the terms and conditions, that activity is coming under the definition of supply of services, then you have to verify the notification 11 of 2017 compared with your client activity, under which category your client's services are identified. Based on that, you have to calculate appropriate rate of tax on, as per appropriate schedule. So, second verification, document verification is you have to verify the tax invoice. Friend, in tax invoice, every service provider has mentioned whether it is a interstate supply or interstate supply. This word supply of services must mention in the tax invoice. It is most important in the GST, because based on that, if the transactions are within the state, that means intrastate transactions, the CGST, SGST rate will applicable, or it is interstate transactions, IGST Act is applicable. So according to that, What is the rate of tax applicable for that services? You have to apply. For that, friends, the government of India in note and GST Council in notification number 11 of 2017, they have allotted SAC code. That means services account code. Whatever services, 31 services are classified in the notification 11 of 2017 by the GST Council. Each services has allotted one service account code. So, service assessment, once the your client has mentioned in your in his invoice, tax invoice as SA, SAC code. Once SAC code has mentioned, it must be a services, not supply of services only, not for supply of goods. So, whatever SAC code for the convenience of the taxpayers or tax practitioners, the government has provided or has allotted SAC code for identified or recognized appropriate services for applying appropriate rate of tax. When you have prepared the records, you have to verify the bank account. Along with bank account, tax invoice also you must verify it, because most of the in practical manner, most of the tax practitioners are not disclosed 100% information before you. So you have to ask each and every relating to his personal matters, that means relating to business activities. What are the activities has to do, what is the assets is having, and sometimes some of the SSEs is having in agricultural land, that agricultural land they are using for the purpose of commercial. That means for using a storage purpose of commercial crops, or construction of godowns, or he has given some corporate companies to store their machinery, tools, etc. For that, he has to collect some rent rents at monthly basis or yearly basis. So you have to verify here from which status he has established or he's acquired that property as an individual or HF property. Based on that, you have to prepare a file whether your tax bill payer, your client is having activity under individual or HF status, then you have to prepare two files. Whatever incomes earned and whatever assets is having, whatever is having an personal permanent assets, that means tangible or intangible assets, or whatever your client is having immovable properties, and what are the sources your client is having, you have to prepare one checklist relating to individual and same lines related to HF. Regarding women's entrepreneur, they are having only individual capacity only, whether they are having received money for invest from his husband or from her father or from his auntie or from his parents. Whatever income received by the women entrepreneur, it can be treated as a individual capacity. This is most important, friends. It is a trial run. I have today I have provided my video all of you to know the basics of the how to handle services files under GST scenario. Friends, after watching this my video, you have to give your suggestions accordingly. I have to proceed from tomorrow onwards for further. My plan of action is whatever notification number 11 of 2017, 31 classification of services, I have provided each and every classification of services to you. According to notification number 11, the government has notified 31 services. I have provided individual in detail each services for your knowledge purpose in future from tomorrow onwards. So I am requesting all of you, you watch my video and give your feedback or suggestions to improve my webinar. Thank you.